everyone. Welcome to Be Kind for Lyme and the 3-question interview. Today we have Kat Woods coming to us from Seattle, Washington. She is the creator of HopeHealCook.com. It is a blog site about chronic illness, and she also is the writer and artist of the cartoon Chronically Kat. Hi, Kat.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so our first question is, on your website, it talks a lot about you living with autoimmune illness, and then also you were diagnosed with Lyme disease. So I just want to find out, how long have you been dealing with both of those, and how long ago were you diagnosed with Lyme disease?
So I've had some symptoms of illness ever since I was a child, and I'm not sure at this point if I started with having an autoimmune disease and later contracted Lyme, or if I just had health problems and then as a result of untreated and undiagnosed Lyme disease became autoimmune. I believe that I got Lyme disease at around 12 or 13, and it was shortly thereafter that I started having symptoms of autoimmunity that were quite noticeable. By the time I was in my early 20s, I was disabled, unable to work, unable to function, and a few years after that, completely bedridden as a result of my symptoms. At that time, I was suspected of having lupus, which is a systemic form of autoimmunity. That may have been caused by the Lyme disease, or that may have been something that was there before and had only gotten worse as a result of the Lyme and the number of co-infections I have. I finally found a Lyme literate doctor 2.5 years ago. I walked into my doctor's office, not knowing she was Lyme literate, and she pinned me as having chronic Lyme. It was only 6 months ago that I actually had a test that showed I am Lyme positive. As you might know, it can be difficult to get a firm diagnosis on Lyme disease. However, because my doctor suspected the presence of Lyme, I began treatment for Lyme 2 years ago.
Okay. And one of the things that what interested me in your website and how I met you was Instagram and your healthy cooking pictures that are absolutely beautiful on Instagram, and that's what drew me to you and your website. I want to find out, I know that you had formal training at culinary school for cooking, and it is a passion of yours. So I wanted to find out a little bit more about that, because with autoimmune, with Lyme disease, all of these chronic illnesses, diet is very important. So maybe you could give us a little background on that and what you do.
Thanks. Yeah, I've always loved cooking. For me, it's meditative. It's fun, it's creative expression, and it's a way for me to nurture others. I love to feed people, especially people I love. But as far as health goes, I started to make the connection between what I was eating and how I felt. Over the years, I've tried a number of diets, including vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, raw food. I've done most of them. And as I tried all these different ways of eating, I noticed that my symptoms would either get better or worse, both physically and emotionally. Certain foods made me really anxious and irritable. Certain foods would give me migraine headaches or make it so that I wasn't able to get out of bed for days. So by putting these connections together, I started looking for what would help me feel best diet-wise. That's taken a lot of trial and error, but right now my unique diet for healing is based on something called the autoimmune approach, or autoimmune paleo. It's a form of paleo eating. I also incorporate some parts of the PK protocol for Lyme, which is a ketogenic-based diet. I really recommend taking a look at diet if you're having any kind of chronic illness. A lot of us have systemic inflammation, which food can affect. There might be underlying food intolerances. I have a long list of food intolerances, and I had no idea I did until I started looking into this. And it has been a complete game changer. Within a few weeks of figuring out what my body responded to inflammation-wise, I saw a huge improvement in my quality of life. So now I use what I've learned and I try and share easy, nourishing recipes with others.
Oh, and they're great. I really appreciate them. And like I said, the photography is beautiful and makes all of the food look so appetizing. And also it makes me personally interested in trying them. So I think others will be interested also. You have been doing mostly or all natural approach. Am I correct in saying that? Because I read most of your blog and I think it was you've done mostly the natural approach with everything, herbal, diet, and so on. Is that correct?
It is. So when I first came to do Lyme treatment, it was with a naturopathic doctor. So all of my Lyme specific treatments have been based on what's called actually the Clean Heart Biological Protocols for Lyme, I believe. And it is a holistic naturopathic approach to treating the Lyme, the co-infections, and the underlying co-factors for this disease. Before that, I spent years and years and years in what we tend to call the Western medical system. I wasn't making the improvements that I wanted to with that approach. My body was so weak that the pharmaceuticals that I was on were actually shutting down my organs, and I was dying. I was desperate when I went to see my first naturopath. Absolutely desperate. I was willing to try anything. For me, I found that this approach has been gentler, and it's one that I tolerate better. But what I advocate for everybody is that they do what's going to be right for them, and what they feel in their gut is going to be the right path for them. I do share a bit about what my protocols look like because I have people who are curious and want to know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do have those on the blog for people who are curious and just want to see maybe what else is out there.
Yeah, I mean, especially the detox, which, not, as you said, not everything, not the same treatment works for everyone. But detox for sure is important for everyone, and a healthy diet. So those are things I noticed that are on the website and important for people to learn about and read. Our question number 3 is, you have been living with chronic illness issues for a number of years. You've done a lot of treatment, detoxing and healthy eating and so on. Maybe you could give us a little information about how you're doing now.
Great, yeah. So I have made tremendous improvement. I'm still not 100% disease-free, illness-free, but I am now at a point where the first time in years I'm able to function independently without having to receive in-home care. For years, I had a part-time caregiver because I could not do basic things on my own. I needed help with bathing, cooking, getting dressed, any kind of housework. And that's been up until this last December, actually, that I've had help with that. I still have help every day from my husband. And we still have to let some things go on a continual basis. We always say there will always be dishes. You learn to let some stuff go. But as far as progress goes on the emotional side of things, I have gained so much wellness. I am able to experience joy, contentment, and peace that I did not think was going to be possible while living with chronic illness. There is so much to my life now that just radiates wellness, despite the symptoms I still have. And I think that's important to share, that while we're healing illness, we can also redefine wellness.
Agreed. And thank you for saying that. I think that's important for people to hear that are dealing with any chronic illness. and appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And we're going to put all of your web information at the end of the interview, your website, hopehealcook.com. You are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then you have the blog, and we're going to let everyone know how to find you on there, okay? So I'm going to sign off and say goodbye now, and thank you for joining me and chatting. And then we'll talk for a minute afterwards, okay?
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.